Hello students. In this previous lecture of French Revolution, we had reached a point where the people, with the help of the political clubs, attacked the Palace of Tuileries and held the king and the queen hostage and declared the state as a republic. A newly elected assembly was established, which was called the convention. So the people had finally gained strength and had established their own rule in a true manner. But this republic was also not very long lived. Very soon they realized that what they deemed as power in their hand became the power in the hand of the one they deemed would be appropriate to look after the administration as their representative. This period was called the Reign of Terror. Now the question that rises in our mind is how come the people's rule became a burden over them only? This Reign of Terror was a period of 1 year from 1793 to 1794, during which one person called Robespierre, who was the leader of the most famous Jacobin club, which fought and initiated the whole revolution, which gave power to the common people and gave them a chance to rule. This person was a fanatic. Fanatic in the sense that he had rules and he was a very strict follower of the rules. If he was fighting for the people's right, then anyone and everyone who held any view even slightly against it was the enemy in his eyes. So he held the clergy class, the nobles, the previous political parties, even the members of his own club who did not agree with him on the methods that he was using were a danger to the country in his view. To take, for example, some of the policies that Robespierre implemented were that the production of the state must not remain in one hand or even in the hand of the producers, which could make them richer than the other people. So, to control that, Robespierre decided that all the production of the state will be rationed and the prices will be fixed by the government. Even the wages of the people were controlled by the government policies. Anything, be it an expensive type of clothing or an expensive type of food, was prohibited and every citizen had to use and live in a similar manner. Here, by this ideology of Robespierre, we can determine that on one hand, his policies were in favor of gaining equality in the state, but at the same time, this exerted equality was not acceptable by the common people. Robespierre also started many systems like that. People will not be addressed as Monsieur and Madame, as we call in English Sir and Madam, which is to give respect. Instead, they will be called citoyen and citoyenne, which refer to male and female citizen of the state, as he was against the noble classes, the clergy class as well. So he forced and shut down the churches and converted them into government offices or barracks. With these kind of harsh and forced practices, Robespierre, instead of gaining support of the people, started becoming a speck in the eyes of the common people, and slowly and gradually he became very unpopular. A very famous system that Robespierre used to follow, and he I'd say made very popular, was a system of punishment called guillotine. I'm sure you all must have watched Tom and Jerry, and in that cartoon, we find that sometimes they use an instrument where there are two pillars, and in between those two pillars there are two blades, and Tom and Jerry, they usually play and place someone's head over that blade to cut it down. This machine was invented by Dr. Guillotine and was named after its inventor only. Whoever Robespierre recognized as an enemy of the state was punished with this guillotine machine, or the person was guillotined in a single sentence. After the whole dissatisfaction that the people showed against Robespierre, he also was arrested and was punished in the same manner as well, that he was guillotined by that particular machine. So, the point that comes down here is that the people, they fought for their own rule, but instead what they get is one person who could not provide them with a proper representation. And these conditions led to another chaotic situation further, that with no ruling class, with no representative to guide them, now the country was in a complete mayhem, and to take benefit of this mayhem, the ruling class, the rich section of the society, which was ruling over them earlier, now started spreading their desires to gain the power back, and the wealthier section gained power in their hand, they brought the state back to its original position. They took back all the rights that were provided or were gained by the people during the time when the state was declared republic. Now, when the wealthier section held power in their hand, they abolished all the laws which gave them an equal status to run the state in a proper manner. They appointed a directory and an executive containing of 5 members, but because everybody wanted power in their own hand, so they used to fight continuously for making any law or getting to any single decision, which brought the state into a situation of political and economic instability, which then lured many neighboring rulers to attack and gain power over the state, and the one who succeeded was Napoleon Bonaparte in the year 1804, which seized the reign of France and brought the state back to the position from where it started and in the same manner. So in this manner, we see that the people fought, but they could not retain the freedom for more than the period of a decade. But still, we are reading this revolution in our book. The question here will come in your mind: why are we studying an unsuccessful revolution? Yes, it was an unsuccessful revolution, but it was one of the first examples that came from the world history, which gave the people the idea that the common people were also the power holders of the state. They were the citizen of the state, and they needed to be taken care of, they needed to be heard. And although the power of freedom could not retain in France, but still gave the world the idea that if the people want, then they can achieve their goal. In the next lecture, we'll come into details of the inside stories of the revolution, what changes it brought in the social structure, or what particular section of the society participated and in what manner.